Hi, my name is Jane Scarf, and I'm coming to you from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And I want to talk to you today about mandatory vaccine for federal government employees. I'm telling you, this is not a difficult issue to address. We have very strong human rights legislation that protects our right to express informed consent. And that would be the Canadian Bill of Rights, Section 1A, which is life, liberty, and security of person. Now, there's a history to this right that ties into the Nuremberg trial, which prohibits forced medical procedure, as well as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Freedoms also prohibits forced medical treatment. And the Canadian Bill of Rights obligates the federal government to uphold those rights no matter what. There's no conditions. And even if they declare a state of emergency, don't worry about that either, because in the Emergency Act, it says that in their emergency planning, they have to respect the rights found in the Canadian Bill of Rights, and they cannot abridge those rights even in the case of a national emergency. So they have nothing. They're passing bylaws that are violating, or at least on the face, they violate rights. So they're toast. They're not enforceable. And the employer would also be liable for any injury if they go ahead and force you. So the government and the employer, because for a number of things, the vaccine hasn't been tested. So and even now, in the length of time that they've given it out, it's proven to have a very high injury rate. According to the CDC, the Pfizer has a 3% severe disability injury rate, injury to the point where they need somebody to look after them, and a very high death rate. Apparently, it's higher than the death rate for COVID. So, these are all liability factors, and somebody's going to have to foot the bill if they push ahead. So I would suggest saying no, that you're not having it. Don't quit. Just say no, and say why. Okay, not just no. You say no because forced medical procedure violates my human rights that are recognized and protected in the Canadian Bill of Rights, Section 1A. Now, I can't guarantee how they're going to respond to that, but I can say that the more people that do that, the more likely they are just to go uncle and back down, because they're only testing the waters, see what they'll take, see what they'll accept, see how far we can go with this. Well, don't let them. And I don't just say no. I say no because we have rights, and forced vaccine is a violation of those rights. And also, they're not providing information either when they're passing these out. They're just saying, like, well, here you go. They're not telling you the ingredients. They're not telling you what has already been established statistically as the rate of injury. And that's another violation in itself. The fact that it's forced violation, and the fact that it's not informed is also a violation. Because they might say, like Trudeau said in one of his commercials, oh, it's safe and effective. Well, how would he even know that? Because it hasn't even been tested. And that is misleading, because it's not based on anything valid or any science or anything. So it's a complete misrepresentation. So anyways, that's what I suggest. You get out your Canadian Bill of Rights, not your charter. Your charter has flaws in it. Section 1 says that your rights are only guaranteed unless they have a reason they think is good enough to override your rights. And they can do that willy-nilly right on the spot. They don't have to go to court first and get permission. They just can go ahead and do it. So if you're relying